Hello you lovely lot, my name is Max and welcome back to my YouTube channel and another Nottingham Forest tactics and transfers video. Ladies and gents, today we are going to be talking about a player who I personally think would be a great pickup and piece of business for Nottingham Forest, and that man is 24-year-old Norwegian international Sander Berge, who for the last few seasons has been plying his trade at Sheffield United and put together a very impressive resume over his career. Berge is valued at around £15 million according to Transfermarkt, and in today's video we're going to be talking about his background, his rise to Sheffield United and Premier League football, and also how I personally think he would suit this Nottingham Forest side. So before we get into that, don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel, ringing that notification bell so you don't miss a single Nottingham Forest tactics and transfers video coming up in the future. And with that being said, let's start talking about Sander Berge and why I think he would be a top signing for Nottingham Forest. Sander Berge was born in Bærum in Norway and is a product of the Asker youth system, developing his craft and making his first appearance for the first team in the latter stages of the 2013 season. And his impressive performances in limited appearances would see him be picked up by one of the biggest sides in Norway, Vålerenga, and this would prove to be a very smart signing as he would quickly establish himself in the first team, being one of their key players over a 2-year stint in Oslo. And so much so that his stint would end after 2 seasons in 2017, being snapped up by one of the biggest sides in Belgium, Genk, getting the opportunity to shine on the European stage for the very first time in his career, featuring in the Europa League, reaching the quarterfinals against Celta Vigo during the 2017 season, and even making Champions League appearances during his final campaign in Belgium. In fact, those appearances would actually garner the interest of Liverpool briefly before moving to Sheffield United during the winter window of the 2019-20 Premier League season, helping the team reach 8th in the Premier League come the end of that campaign. However, this would then be when the injury bug started to bite, and he would be limited to just 15 league appearances during their relegation campaign in the subsequent season, and just 30 games in the Championship last season, just 66% of available games. That being said, he did return his best goal scoring season last campaign, getting 5 in the league and 1 in the playoff semi-finals, very famously against Nottingham Forest, that consolation goal in the first leg. And when you look at his numbers in detail, there is a very exciting player under the hood to be had, a player completing around 6 defensive actions per 90 minutes, around the same as James Garner, with a completion or success rate in the high 60s, low 70s percentage, which is much better than James Garner and actually very good for a central midfielder. Now, under Paul Heckingbottom at Sheffield United, he has been pushed into a more advanced position, playing at number 10 for periods during the latter stages of the season due to injuries to much of the forward line for Sheffield United, and this is reflected in his attacking numbers, creating just under 1 chance per 90 minutes and having an XG of around 0.2 per 90 minutes, meaning the chances he creates are worth about 1 goal every 5 appearances. But it is as one of, if not the best ball progressor in the Championship, that he really shines. For Championship central midfielders under 24 years of age, he was the best progressive carrier last season, completing over 3 progressive runs in the Championship. If signing for Forest, I would personally shift him into a more defensive position where he's a little bit more used to playing, rather than at number 10 where he played for Sheffield United, where he has the opportunity to do some of the defensive work that he does, but more importantly help progress the play through the centre of the park. Personally, I can see Steve Cooper shifting to more of a 3-5-2 next season, 3 central midfielders instead of 2 and a number 10, and I think in that kind of a system he'd really thrive, where the weight and the burden of defensive actions, which have probably caught up with him, the amount of injuries he's sustained recently, being lifted off him, with the likes of Yates able to come in and help him with that. So with that being discussed, let's start talking about how he was actually deployed for Sheffield United last season, how Paul Heckingbottom got the best out of the Norwegian midfielder. So as you can see here, we've got Sheffield United's formation, a variation on the 3-5-2, very similar to what we've been playing last season, and also very similar to how Sheffield United played under Chris Wilder for such a long period. And it's worth noting our man Sander Berge has experience playing in a more central, deep position, and last season even spent some time playing as a number 10 due to an injury crisis to forward players for Sheffield United. Now, he will tend to operate within the central areas of the pitch. If you look at the width of the 18-yard box, he'll tend to operate within that sort of area of the pitch. and he's very much able to come back and help do the defensive work. He's been a very solid defensive presence for much of his career, helping win tackles, interceptions, block the ball off, that kind of stuff. He usually ranks pretty highly for that kind of stuff. And then where he'll really excel is helping pull the team forward on the counter attack. We've got a high transition here against the opposition. He'll pick up the ball, and he's very good at looking forward and getting the ball forward at the earliest opportunity, either through the wide channels or forward to his forward players where they can hold up and help assist the attack. Now, in general, last season Sheffield United were one of the highest volume crossing teams in the league, and this was very much evident through the aggressive nature of their wing-backs looking to get balls into the box, and Sander Berge really thrives on this. He's able to peel forward, make those late runs into the box and get his goals, and he did very well in the late stages of last season in adding more goals to his game as he was pushed further up the pitch and able to make these late runs into the box. And when you combine the aggressive wing backs with that joint attacking threat of two very wide forwards, particularly in the late stages of last season where Njai and Gibbs-White were playing in very split striker style systems, they were able to get balls into the box, and also very aggressive centre backs who were able to overlap and create overloads in the wide areas, something that we've seen from Sheffield United for the last half decade at least, under Heckingbottom and under Chris Wilder. And this just enables so much ball progression and control in the wide areas that when they do get the ball into the box, they have the space and the ability to then win their headers. And Sander Berge, obviously being 6'5", being a good presence in the air and also a decent finisher, allows them to get goals in those kinds of areas. Personally, I would love to see Sander Berge play at the City Ground next season for Nottingham Forest. Having only just turned 24, you do feel like he's probably still got another good 5 or 6 years left in him, and I think his tactical versatility would allow him to play in a midfield 2 alongside Ryan Yates, where his progressive abilities would really thrive, or also in a midfield 3 if we were to drop that number 10 into a central midfield position. I think either way he would thrive in this Nottingham Forest system, and I really back Steve Cooper to get the best out of him should he join the club. I do have two concerns about Sander Berge. The first one is that injury record. I mentioned it earlier. He missed 20 games during the 2021 season and 13 games last season through a combination of injuries, surgeries and illnesses over the course of the last 2 campaigns. And I do worry that that would potentially make the value of his transfer diminish when you look at how much you're actually going to get him fit 100% on the field in the Premier League. And the second point of that really kind of relates back to that, the fee involved. Werder Bremen have had apparently a £17 million bid rejected by Sheffield United. Apparently they're very keen to have as much of the money they paid recouped for the Norwegian international, which was close to £22 million. And personally, I think that would probably price us out the market for Sander Berge. I don't think I'd pay more than £20 million. But if he came on the market and he was available for sort of 15 to 17, what Werder Bremen were looking to agree, I think it would be a good punt and I think it would be worth the risk. Of course, though, let me know in that comment section down below what you think of the signing of Sander Berge. Do you think he's someone we should go for or someone maybe we should avoid? I've made my case. Let me know in the comment section down below. And whilst you're down there, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single tactics and transfers video or the return or the match previews in the next month or so. And that being said, thank you very much for watching, Reds. Hope you enjoy your day or your weekend, depending on when you're seeing this. I will catch you later.